Alrighty, hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome to my channel. My name is Laura and it has been a minute since I have done one of these videos, but I know a lot of you guys are here for the frugal tips. So I've been working on something. I wanted this to be the latest and greatest, best stuff. So if you enjoy today's content, please subscribe to see more of this. I will try and link my other videos somewhere, or they should be linked at the end. Let's get into it. Firstly, for those who saw my last video and are wondering why I now have this cup that I said I was not going to buy, I was given this as a gift. And what I found out, because my birthday is coming up soon, is that I think people are using my video of stuff I said I was going to buy but decided not to figure out what it is that they should give me for gifts. So you might see a few things coming up and be like, wasn't she not gonna get that? I didn't. People just like being able to give people gifts that they know they will like, and apparently this was a perfect invitation. Okay, now back to the video. One of my favorite frugal tips is to learn some basic skills so that you don't have to pay for contractors. This doesn't necessarily just apply to renovations. Like, we did a bunch of renovations, and for our kitchen, which was like totally stripped back, we only paid for the plumber and the electrician, and that stuff you have to like pay someone to come in and do those in New Zealand. You're not really allowed to do them yourself. Everything else, from the demolition, replacing the floorboards, installing the cabinets, all of that, we did ourselves, and it was mostly me. And I've never been trained in this. I just really wanted to save that money and to learn how to do things. And I'm good at doing kind of precise stuff, so I knew that that was achievable for me. But that saved us so much money in the kitchen renovation. However, that is not the only thing that I've learned to do. A few days after moving in here, we had an issue with our sink, and Josh immediately wanted to call a plumber to come in and take a look at it. And I was like, no, we're not spending out on this straight away. Let me get in under there and see what I can do. So I did, and we actually ended up having to call the plumber. But if we hadn't needed to, I would have easily saved us a few $100s by just knowing the basics of how to detach the plumbing, see what was going on in there, unblock stuff, and get it going again. Again, for the renovation side of things, I really wanted to have some cute extra storage in our place. Now, if I got a handyman to do this, I'd be paying for all the materials, plus all the labor, plus all of his time to go and get the stuff, bring it here, figure it out, all of that, right? So with these shelves, this is reclaimed wood. Yes, I had to buy the screws and the anchors and the brackets, but I can just buy those individually, right? And then after that, it was basically some sanding, which you can do by hand and is really not that expensive, and a drill in order to put these up. So paying someone versus doing this myself and knowing that it's going to be exactly as I want it was just a no-brainer. I'm also so happy with how these turned out, and I just love telling people that I just got these planks of wood from outside because they were just on the grass for a couple of years before I saved them. Similarly, a lot of our furniture when we bought it was not very good, but with a few basic tools that you can buy for cheap or borrow from people, I managed to do them up and make them into something really, really nice that instead of costing us $5, yes, the stool cost $5 when I bought it, would have cost $100 for me to buy it looking really nice as it does now. So I kind of estimated that between basic things that can happen when you're living in a home and with things that you want to buy, but if you know how to do things up better, you can save a lot of money on, I think that this could save you easily $3,000 per year by learning some basic skills around plumbing, building, woodworking, I suppose you would call it, painting, assembly, just general kind of handyman or handywoman or handy non-binary person kind of stuff. Now, we have a couple of little trips booked over the next few months, so this got me thinking about the next two. The first one is, even if you're a foodie like myself and my husband, Pick the meals that you're going to eat out and get really nice food, and then just go super basic on the others. So if you're traveling, have like a granola cup for breakfast just from like a gas station. And if you're staying in a place that has instant coffee, just have that with your breakfast. And then for lunch, you can easily grab like a sandwich from somewhere. And I don't mean like burger sandwiches like in the States, I mean like basic triangle sandwiches. Maybe like a tin of salmon or tuna if you need some extra protein, and then save your money to go out and have nice food for dinner. I do this even traveling in places where they have really amazing different foods. I try and keep it super basic for breakfast and lunch, then spend out for dinner. And it's especially more important when you're in places that aren't that exciting, because you really don't want to travel a few hours away and then end up paying $20 for breakfast, $20 for lunch, and then $30, $40 for dinner. It adds up really, really quickly. So between myself and my husband, I would estimate that we save $40 per person per day, so $80 combined. And if you think about that over like 2 weeks total away, either on day trips or like long weekend trips during the year, that's over $1,000 saved easily. The next one for traveling is choosing to stay at Airbnbs rather than hotels. Now, I know that the whole Airbnb thing has got a lot of flack recently, and that's totally fair, but for us in New Zealand, I have found that the Airbnbs are often way nicer and way more inviting than motels or hotels. I'm the kind of person who doesn't really like the whole hotel vibe anyway, like going into a really clinical space where it's just sort of 4 walls and a bed with a weird duvet cover on it. There's no fridge, there's no like kettle to use, there's no microwave. It just makes it really difficult for me to travel and feel comfortable, right? So I hate paying that anyway. And often these are like $300 a night for a room. Whereas if we stay in an Airbnb and we just have like a room in a house, it's often more comfortable and I can feel more relaxed there. And it can be like a third, maybe half of the price. So for the trips that we have coming up, we're easily saving $1,000 across 6 days of accommodation. And it's just a no-brainer for us, honestly. I've looked a few times being like, oh, should we treat ourselves and stay at a hotel? And then I remember what they look like and what they feel like when you're there and how expensive it is, and I'm fine sticking with my Airbnbs. If I have to do something weird with the cleanup and the rubbish at the end of it, I'm okay with that. I will save my money. Learn to make your takeaways. I'm talking about like really nice Chinese takeaways or Japanese food or Indian takeaways or whatever. If you know that you like something and you are pretty regularly buying that thing like as a treat, firstly, it can really add up, and secondly, a lot of the time if you're a reasonable cook like I am, or I hope I am, I will self-proclaim that, you can figure out how to make this stuff at home. So for us, we make dan dan noodles at home, we do mushroom and miso ramen, we do butter chickpeas with sourdough naan bread, and a lot of the time it's nicer and we enjoy it more than when we go out. And also for 2 people, you're easily saving $30, you know, it's $10 of ingredients rather than $40 of getting takeaways. So if you do this over, let's say once a week, but sometimes you still get the takeaways out, you're still going to be saving about $1,200 a year. Use the library instead of buying new books. You can also, if you live in a country like us where we have toy libraries, which I know isn't a thing in loads of countries, you can also use that for kids' toys, where instead of buying new toys, you can go to the toy library and borrow stuff. So let's say you read a new book every month, and I know some people churn through them, right? But let's say a new, like big solid book every month, that's like $30. If you just plan ahead, reserve it at the library, and use your free library card to get it, you can save almost $400 a year just by doing that. And also from a clutter and an environmental point of view, it's so much better to be borrowing books rather than buying them. And again, with the toys, if you have kids, I don't even need to tell you, kids get bored with stuff, right? And it can seem so expensive to feel like you need to constantly buy new things to keep them entertained. But if your kid isn't too likely to break stuff, I know that toy libraries can be an amazing option and keep things fresh without you having to buy stuff. And I don't even want to calculate out how much that would save. So if this sparked any thoughts for you about frugal tips that you wanted to share, please comment them down below. Please also subscribe if you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.